According to the computer, it's 6:30. Welcome to the agenda meeting for June. And if you would, Commissioners, please register your presence by voting yes. Commissioner Archer, would you register your presence?
Okay, you have 19 present and 2 absent. You have a quorum.
We do have a quorum of 19 present. Please pay attention to the emergency announcement. John?
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Thank you. We'll wait till everyone gets a seat. First item on the agenda is the setting of the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to set the agenda. Commissioner Carver, is there a second? Any discussion? If you're in favor of the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Commissioner Allen. Okay. Can you confirm? There we go. There we go.
You have 19 yeses, 1 abstain.
I'd say you probably didn't mean to hit abstain, did you? Okay. That's all right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda minutes from May the 12th. The chair will entertain a motion. What, I missed one? Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Missed public input, and I didn't mean to. Anybody have public input on items on the agenda? These are items on the agenda. Come up, sir, please. Come on up. Please give us your name and where you reside. Let me get the mic on here.
Reside on Gribble Road. I missed the hearing a little while ago, and I apologize for being late for that, but I wanted to comment on RAC 2. Often when I come, I have constructive criticism, but in this case, I really appreciate what the Planning Commission and John Lamb did on RAC 2 and making some major concessions and making the planning for RAC 2 much better. And that's my comments, and thank you sincerely.
Okay, thank you. Do I have somebody up here? Come on up, Mr. Hinkle.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Jim Hinkle. I live in District 10, and I stand before you this evening as a proud citizen of having the privilege and pleasure of living in Blount County. I know, in my opinion, we take a lot of things and a lot of the services that we have in this county for granted. And in this last election that we just recently had, I saw a lot of what I call negative campaigning, name calling, and it seems like the good old fellows network, so forth, was used consistently by several people. Well, I don't know about this good old boy stuff, but it seems like if you stand up for people that represent us and keep us safe, and if there's anything involving money, you're part of the good old boy network. Same thing in regard to education. If you support fixing the roofs on leaky schools, you're part of the good old boy network. If you promote bringing in new industry and working hand in hand with the people that's responsible for bringing in all these great jobs that we've recently acknowledged of coming in, you're part of the good old boy network. Well, I stand before you tonight and say I have come to the conclusion I am a good old boy, and I'm darn proud of it. And I stand before you tonight supporting whatever it takes to bring our county employees up to the salaries that they so deservingly need, and it's justifiable that they have those salaries. We've watched the Sheriff's Department operate over the last several years with a constant battle of retaining employees, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Well, you've got Maryville and Alcoa right here within stone throw distance that can reach out and take one of our deputies and give him $4,000 or $5,000 more a year. And then you heard Tony Akins the other night state that in Loudoun County they start their people out $4,000 to $5,000 more than what we do here in Blount County. It's just justifiable that we do what is necessary in order to bring them up to speed. Not only them, but all of our county employees. As you've heard me say many, many times, these people are the backbone of this county. Regardless of what you may hear, I have never met one in any department that didn't show true professionalism and treat you with respect, and that's what we ask for, and that's what we get. We're blessed to live in this county and have the people that we have. I want to thank all of you for the job that you do, and I really respect that, and I know it's a tough job, and it's getting tougher all the time. Thank you.
All right. Come on up. Your name, where you reside, and the item you're talking about, please.
I'm Julie Rigel, 1808 East Westwood Drive, Maryville, Tennessee. I'm just going to refer to the RAC 2 Rural Arterial, and it looks like the third compliment to you guys in a row. I just want to thank you for listening to the public and sending it back to the Planning Commission, and thank the Planning Commission for listening to and common sense and limiting the development along the arterial roads. So thank you again, 3 compliments in a row to you guys.
Very rare. Thank you. Anyone else? Who's next? I don't see any hands. Come on up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Harry Groth, John, District 9. I'm not going to make it 3 or 4 in a row. How about that? I have brought with me tonight something I didn't get a chance to get to you in time to hand out. It is a copy of the first 2 pages in the economic index, the East Tennessee Economic Index. It's on the Blount County government website that reports the median family household income for East Tennessee families, and it refers to the changes in that income since the year 2000 to the year 2019-13. And in Blount County, that income has gone from $52,000 a year to $45,000 a year. In the city of Alcoa, it's gone from $46,000 a year to $39,000 a year. In the city of Maryville, it's gone from $56,000 a year to $50,000 a year. Now, why that's important, and I'll leave these here for you to look for yourself if you can't operate to get to the Blount County Government Home website, and determine that we have a problem in this community with a term that Scripture describes as covetousness. Covetousness is wanting what somebody else has got because you have the ability to take it. I think that our county employees are doing an outstanding job, and I'd love to be able to afford to give them more. But the Blount County families you are asking to pay a 22% property tax increase are operating on $5,000 a year household income less than they did 15 years ago, sir. So, and obviously, because of the nature of that declining economy, many of them perhaps don't feel that they have the confidence to come before you and plead their case. So I'm here in their behalf, asking you to recognize that their position is that they look at the tenure in the Blount County government and see that the national average is 7.9 years, and your own study says it's 10.1 years for Blount County employees. We obviously have a very attractive situation, and people enjoy working here and are here more than 30% more than they are any other municipal government in the study that you've paid to have. And when it comes to the school board budget, you know, the school board in the last 5 years has got $1 million more a year. They've gone from a $76 million budget to a $82 million budget. And sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, come on forward, please. Give us your name, please. No, I bet I know it.
Dick Scott, District 10. I'm going to run over my 3 minutes. Anyway, first thing I want to say is that, you know, the previous speaker gave you a lot of facts and figures. Other speakers will tonight, some commissioners, about what our county employees are paid, all of them, and specifically the deputies. It doesn't matter what all them other facts and figures are. What matters is that our county employees and our deputies are underpaid. Compare them to whatever you want. They are underpaid. Everybody here has said that. Even some that will vote no have said that. Okay? Last month I said we ought to be ashamed of what we pay our county employees. Not only should we be ashamed, we ought to be embarrassed. Okay? And that's the bottom line. With all this other rhetoric and so forth, it doesn't matter. What matters is, let me give you an example. My son, when he graduated from William Blount High School, couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted to go in the Navy or become a sheriff's deputy. I sat with him for hours and discussed the pros and cons. He chose the Navy. He chose the Navy because when I told him what he would have to do if he wanted to become a sheriff's deputy, which he really wanted to do, is he'd have to live at home because he could not afford to go out and live on his own. So he chose the Navy. I think it was to get rid of me, okay? But anyway, now when he's a career officer in the Navy, when he gets out, you know what he wants to do? He's serving his country now. When he gets out, he wants to serve this county as a deputy. He will be able to afford it under the current circumstances only because he's drawing a pension and can live on that pension and not have to depend on what this county pays its deputy sheriffs. It's terrible. I wish you would all think about that. I would like to have 15 more minutes because I could go on and on. I got a bunch of notes here and I'm already used up 3 minutes. If I sound like I'm a little high-strung on this, I am. I am with Jim Hinkle. I'm one of the good old boys. And I think the good old boys have done this county well over the years, with the exception of paying our employees a decent, livable wage. How would any of you like to live with a gross pay, gross?
Okay, thank you.
$27,000 a year.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Any of you to do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Was there, okay, in the back there.
My name is Donna Wright, and I'm from District 6B. The job of the county, department heads, and the mayor is to ask for more money. You could give them a 100% increase in their budget request, and they would come back tomorrow asking for more. That is their job as bureaucrats, and I understand that. But your job as county commissioners is to stand in the gap to stop the runaway budget because of their personal agendas and excess spending, and stop this foolishness because the citizens of Blount County, who are under taxpayer duress anyway, cannot afford this added burden. We need you as county commissioners to grow a backbone and demand that the department heads reduce their budget cost instead of just automatically granting their current request. Some of the proposed money brought in from a property tax increase would be to fund the shortfall of the health care fund. Why are you not currently pursuing the options of making the county employees pay for more of their health care benefits, or make some plan changes first before you put forth this proposal to raise taxes? You have a $1.8 million shortfall year to date. What are you going to do next year when that will more than likely increase? Implement the wheel tax, possibly? My husband's insurance rates increased this year by 36%. And who pays for it? He does. He doesn't have the advantage of passing that increase on to someone else. Our sheriff has a $10.6 million budget. And you mean to tell me that he cannot reallocate some of his own funds to pay his deputies to give them a raise? We just passed the 22% sales tax increase last year, which I thought was for education. Why do they keep coming back for more? If you make the money available, they will always find ways to spend it. And next budget, they're going to ask you for more. My family runs a fiscally responsible household, and when we need to cut, that's what we do. And if you pass this property tax increase, guess what we'll be doing again? Making more cuts. It is your job as commissioners of this county to be fiscally responsible stewards of the taxpayers' money. And right now, some of you are failing miserably. I know some of you have your mind made up already, but those of you that are on the fence, I ask that you do the fiscally responsible thing and vote no on the property tax increase. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? I see no more. Oh, come up.
My name is Tom Hatcher. I live in District 9. I just have a couple of comments. For the last couple, 2 or 3 weeks, there's been a lot of rhetoric put out on blogs and stuffed mailboxes and things on people and things like that, which I think is childish, number one, especially when you won't put your name with what you're stating. My daddy taught me that if you believe in something, you stand up for it and you put your name with it. And I've got 2 comments. Number one, I don't know how many commissioners know this, and I sure don't know how many of the public knows this, but in the circuit court clerk's office, I get 0 property tax money to operate my office. We operate strictly off the fees that we bring in and collect. And we turn in excess money to the general county each year. And number 2, people get up here and talk about the taxpayers and that. We're all taxpayers. I think people forget that these folks sitting out here that are county employees and their families, they pay taxes just like we do and just like you do. And I think when we get up here and people talk about these things, we forget, and we just think they're county employees and they get everything handed to them. They have to pay part of their salary also. Remember that when you consider. I'm not asking you to vote a tax increase just for that. There's several things that we need to be doing in this county that tax increase is for. It's just not for pay raises. That's a small amount. I think 7 cents, 6 or 7 cents of the amount that is before you tonight. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Come forward, please.
And Bob Wright, I'm District 6B also. Just in rebuttal for I know we're all taxpayers, and as we well know, they are all paid off of our tax payments. They're just paying some of that tax back. And I appreciate your efforts in looking at the proposed budget. And I blame the department heads and mayor for being inefficient in the running of their departments. And they can pay their men and women the salary increases that have been proposed in the talk, and without any problem. So it's the heads, I think, and I think as for instance, the deputies need to go to Sheriff Barong and put the pressure on him to reallocate his budget instead of putting more burden on a taxpayer base that is losing their income. Thank you.
Anyone else? I see no more hands, so we will move on. Last call. Sound like an auctioneer, doesn't it? All right, we're going to move on. Next item on the agenda now is the approval of the agenda committee minutes from May the 12th. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Anybody read it? Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Crowe. Now, is there a second? Commissioner Lewis. Mr. Crowe, Mr. Lewis. Are there additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, if you are in favor of the minutes, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. The minutes are approved. The next item is the consent calendar. Chair will entertain a motion on the consent calendar, items E, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't believe there are any appointments. Chair will entertain a motion. Commissioner Lewis, is there a second? Commissioner Carver. Now, any discussion? Board is clear. If you are in favor of moving the consent calendar to the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no.
Have 20 yeses.
20 yeses. Those items move to the agenda. There is no unfinished business under item F. Under item G, new business, budget transfers. According to my list, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mr. Vineyard, I'll tell you what, Chair will entertain a motion on it to get them on the floor. Move what? I'm showing 9. Is that right?
G1A. Move, send it forward to full commission.
Okay, we have a motion on G1, second, Commissioner Farmer. Now, Mr. Vineyard, do you wish to?
E1A, Mr. Chairman.
G1. Yes. Do you wish to speak to that, Mr. Vineyard?
This being June, the majority of these are in preparation of our annual audit, so we have asked all the department heads and office holders if there are those items that need to have adjustments made so that we are not in danger of overspending any appropriation, and also any adjustments to correct any revenues, budgets prior to the auditors coming in to audit the books. That's what the majority of these are, and I'll address any specific questions.
Does the Commissioner have a specific question? Commissioner Monroe, let me get your mic. Go ahead, sir. Ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a question for Mr. Vineyard. Under the victim assistant assessments, it says the same thing.
Yeah.
G1A is the item.
Oh, I thought you moved all of them. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
I'm looking at a different agenda.
Budget transfers, resolution 1506002.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just not set out as ABC on mine. Okay, yes, we are on the library fund at this point. That's the motion. Any questions on that motion? If you are in favor of that motion moving to the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. I gotta write these. That item moves to the agenda. Let me write down the A, B, C, D, E on here so I can keep up. Okay, the next one is item B.
Move item B to the full agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to move item B. Is there a second? Where was that? Commissioner Carter. Now, question? Anyone have a question? Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I realize that healthcare costs are rising, so I was just wondering if someone could give us an estimate of what our average daily inmate population is that we derive these numbers from. How many have we averaged thus far for the year?
Someone want to answer that? Mr. Vineyard, can you speak to that, or do you want someone from the Sheriff's Office? Anybody? Mr. French?
Mr. Monroe, as you and I spoke on the phone, I don't have those numbers yet. I'm working through those 12 months of data to try to get the average population for the state and federal inmates, which you asked me for. I can tell you that today we have 537 inmates in the jail.
Okay, but you would know how many you've had for the first 11 months, right?
Well, I've got 11 months worth of spreadsheets that I'm trying to figure out. That when I spoke to you on the phone, I'm working through that to try to get that number.
Okay, all right.
I don't have that complete, no ma'am.
Okay, are you taking those numbers, and is that the numbers you're projecting for this coming year's budget?
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't have them complete yet?
Well, I take the forecast of base what we've done to get those numbers to where we're at before we've asked for our new budget. Okay. I mean, historically, we've started the budget out about $400,000 to $500,000 short in medical and food expenditures.
Okay, when do you expect to have those projections? By the end of the year, or do you think you'll have the 11 months projections here soon?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I'm doing my best.
Okay.
It's a big spreadsheet of 11 months.
Okay, thank you, Mr. French. Board is clear. If you are in favor to move this to the agenda, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. I can't hardly see this. That item is approved. The next item is item C. The chair will entertain a motion. General Fund BCSO Medical. Commissioner Farmer, is there a second? Where was that? Oh, Commissioner Kaler. Now, is there a question? Board is clear. If you are in favor, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Moving to the agenda. That item moves to the agenda. The next item is item D, General Fund for BCSO Food in the amount of $23,000.
Mr. Chair, remove items D and E. Both of them are food related.
Motion to move items D and E. Is there a second? Commissioner Lewis. Now, is there a question? Board is clear. If you are in favor, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote. That item moves to the agenda. The next item is item F, debt service reclassification, $344,998. Entertain a motion. Commissioner Lewis, was that right? And Commissioner Carver. Is there a question? The board is clear. If you're in favor of moving this to the agenda, please vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Ms. Miller? That item moves to the agenda. The next item is General Fund Victim Assistance, $3,500. Chair will entertain a motion to move it to the agenda. Commissioner Hedrick, where was the original motion? Commissioner Lewis and then Commissioner Hedrick. Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Both of these lines say victim assessment. What are we, they're just two different numbers. Could somebody explain why we're moving from one description that's identical to another description that's identical?
Mr. Vineyard, can you answer?
The commission, I think it was last year, approved what the state had authorized, that we have the ability to collect $21, I think, on each case, and that's to be split between the Haven House and Child Advocacy Center. So when we get that money in, we're putting together a budget estimate of what we think the collections will be in any given year, and as we get to the end of the year like this, we true that up based on how much we've collected so we can hit the appropriation side and pay those two agencies. So we only pay them after we have the money.
Okay. So is this moving into Haven House, or which one is that?
These will end up going, those monies will end up going to those two agencies and only those two agencies.
Okay, thank you.
The board is clear. If you are in favor of moving this item to the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
There's 19 yes and 1 abstain.
That item moves to the agenda. The next item is 101 General Fund, Other General Administration, $84,000. Chair will entertain a motion to move it to the agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Farmer, is there a second? Commissioner Melton. Now, are there questions? The board is clear. If you are in favor of moving this item to the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, please vote no.
There are 20 yeses.
Item moves to the agenda. The last one, item I, is General Fund Revenues, $173,000. Chair will entertain a motion to move it to the agenda. Commissioner Lewis, is there a second? Second. Commissioner Hedrick. Now, the board, Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What is the other that this is being moved to?
Let me get your mic. Go ahead, sir.
Fund balance. What we are doing here is we're bound by the state chart of accounts. We no longer recognize the account pickup taxes, which might sometimes be called delinquent taxes. So all those are collected now under current taxes. And so that's a reclassification. Mixed drink tax, we had two accounts. The state changed the account without our knowledge. They published that after we'd approved our budget, so we had double budgeted mixed drink tax thinking there were two totally different taxes. So what we're doing is eliminating the one mixed drink tax, and to balance the transaction we have to hit fund balance.
Okay. One last question. Is fund balance usually listed as other?
Yes, that's what the state calls it.
The state calls it other?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next item on the, let's see, did we vote that? Okay. Board's clear, so if you are in favor to move that to the agenda, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote.
There are 20 yeses.
That item moves to the agenda. I try to keep ahead on my notes, and I get ahead of myself on the whole meeting. The next item, budget increases. And it looks like we have 2, 4, 6 items, A through E, all in the sheriff's office. The chair would entertain a motion on all of those 5, unless you'd like to pull one out. Or 6. 5 for the sheriff's office that are identical. 2, 4, 5 for the sheriff's office. 5 items, is that correct? Yes. Now, Commissioner Mountain, is there a second? Second, Commissioner Kaler. Discussion. The board is clear. If you are in favor of moving those 5 items, A through E, to the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 20 yeses.
Those items, excuse me, move to the agenda. The last one is General Fund, Other General Administration. The chair will entertain a motion to move that to the agenda. Commissioner Farmer, who down here over here? Commissioner Lewis, second. The board is, please silence your cell phones. The board is clear. If you are in favor of moving this item to the agenda, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 20 yeses.
Those items move to the agenda. The next item is other budget items. I have 2 grant one called an application and one called a resolution. We'll start with the first one, grant application. The chair will entertain a motion. Commissioner French, is there a second? Second. Commissioner Farmer. Now, discussion. Commissioner Monroe, let me get the mic. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It says that the grant application deadline is May 13th. I just wonder why this wasn't submitted to the commission before back in May or April.
I can't answer that. Can someone, Jeff, or you? It's the Bulletproof Vest Partnership. Let me get the mic on. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't have an answer. It was written by Doug Hancock, our grant writer that works in the planning department. So I'm not sure why the application was just now getting here.
Commissioner Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Over the last 5 years, I know there's numerous times, especially in May and June, that grant applications come after the deadline, and usually there's times when the state or other organizations have given us a heads up that that's been remaining open, so we can avail ourselves of purchasing these vests, at half of it being paid by another organization, not by the taxpayer. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Monroe.
Can we get a copy for the commission meeting of our grant requirements, our grant policy?
We could request. Can you take care of that, Ms. Rhonda?
Can you email that to us? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
If you recognize Mr. Vineyard, I think he can direct it
Okay.
where that is online.
It's on the county's website under the accounting department. It's listed. And it's the policy that this body approved.
Is that satisfactory, Commissioner? All right, thank you. All right, we need to vote on, let's see, did we vote on that one yet? Okay. We need to vote on this A, the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant Application. If you're in favor, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 19 yeses and 1 no.
Okay, that item moves to the agenda. The next item, B, grant resolution, TDEC Clean Energy Grant for Windows. Chair will enter. Commissioner Farmer makes the motion. Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Hedrick. Now, Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't see a grant application in our packet, and I see that the paperwork is dated January 23rd. Was this submitted to the commission prior, or was it exempt and not required to be submitted to the commission?
I don't have the answer.
Grant applications on page 106.
Page 106 is what I'm being told in the package.
Is it? Hold on a
I'm
second.
looking at a hard copy, so I don't know.
Clean Air Energy Grant Program
I'm talking about to the commission, to the form. Did they submit a form to this commission to apply for this grant?
I don't have the answer.
So did the mayor's office just go out and do this?
Is this through the mayor's office, Mr. Vineyard? Do you know? Or, oh, okay. Mr. Garner, would you come up?
The grant application is through the maintenance department.
Maintenance department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I see down here that it lists you as working for the sheriff's department. Are you collecting 2 salaries?
I don't believe that's part of this discussion.
Well, it's on here. It's listed as email of Blount County Sheriff's Office, and
I'm the fleet manager for Blount County Sheriff's Office and also the facilities coordinator for Blount County government.
So you are being paid 2 salaries?
I work for both entities. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Garner. If you are in favor of this item moving to the agenda, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Mr. Carver?
You have 20 yeses.
That item is approved, or moves to the agenda, I'm sorry. Next item is the memorandum of understanding between Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation and the Animal Center. Chair will entertain a motion to move it forward. Commissioner Carver, is there a second? Commissioner Melton? The board is clear. If you are in favor, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no to move it forward. Please vote.
You have 20 yeses.
20 yes, that item moves forward. Next item D is let's see, that's a tax rate resolution, but is that not coming up? Yeah, that's also G4, and it's just showing up in 2 places. Okay, so the next item is the tax rate resolution. We would be on item G4. Chair will entertain a motion. Commissioner Lewis, is there a second? Commissioner Farmer, now discussion. This is a motion to move it to the agenda. The board is clear. If you're in favor of moving this item to the agenda, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 16 yeses and 4 noes.
That item moves to the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the appropriations resolution, and the chair will entertain a motion to move it to the full agenda. Is there, excuse me, Commissioner Melton, now is there a second? Commissioner Stinnett, discussion. The board is clear. If you're in favor of moving this to the full agenda, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 17 yeses and 3 noes.
That item moves to the full agenda. Item G5 is a resolution to update the employee handbook policies. You have those. Chair will entertain a motion to move it to the agenda. Where was that? I'm sorry. Oh, Commissioner Hedrick. Is there a second? Commissioner Farmer. Now discussion. Board is clear. If you are in favor of moving this to the agenda, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 20 yeses.
That item moves to the agenda. Item G6 is a resolution to amend the zoning resolution of Blount County, Tennessee by adding a new RAC 2, Rural Arterial Commercial District 2.
Move sent forward, Mr. Chairman.
Have motion by Commissioner Moon, second Commissioner French. The board, Commissioner Monroe, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What we had before was not perfect. It wasn't how I would write regulations, but at least there was a sense of fairness. It applied equally to everyone. What came back is nothing more than a crony deal for a politically connected person to develop their land when the rest of us can't. This is an abuse of government, and it stinks. It should be rejected. Thank you.
The board is clear. If you are in favor of moving this to the agenda, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Commissioner Caskey and Commissioner Miller.
You have 16 yeses and 4 noes.
Item moves to the agenda. The next item is item 7, a resolution amending Resolution 1502-005, entitled "A Resolution to Establish the Ad Hoc Committee to Study the Feasibility of Recycling in Blount County." Chair will entertain a motion to move it to the agenda. Or was that Commissioner Caskey? Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Lewis. Commissioner Caskey, you wish the floor. Go ahead, sir. Wait a minute. Your mic's not on here for some reason. Now go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the reasons for this, we got started late on the ad hoc committee, and we had weather and some other things, so we were not going to be able to get done what we needed to get done. So we need to extend this to December. And I'm going to support it, and I would ask that you give us that time to do what we've been charged to do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner. The board is clear. If you're in favor of moving this to the agenda, please vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 19 yeses and 1 no.
That item moves to the agenda. Item number 8, a resolution by the Commission pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated Section 54-10-216 to close and vacate a section of the road bed and the right-of-way of Callahan Road, a county-maintained road located in Blount County, Tennessee. Chair will entertain a motion to move it forward.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Lewis, where was the second? Commissioner Hedrick. Discussion. Board is clear. If you are in favor, please vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 20 yeses.
That item moves forward. Next item on the agenda is discussion possible action regarding changes of venue for the June 18th, 2015 County Commission meeting. If you would make a motion to move this to the agenda, please make the motion. Commissioner Monroe.
I'll second the motion to move it on to the agenda of the commission meeting. That's the motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Monroe, seconded by Commissioner Moon to move it to the agenda. Commissioner Monroe, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's not really what we want to do here. Well, I'm going to move to amend the motion. I have spoken to the director of schools and I have spoken to our IT department, and they have both said that it would be fine for us to hold our meeting at either one of the auditoriums at the high school. The director of schools thought that Heritage would probably be better, but we could use William Blount as well. And so we have the IT capabilities. The schools are amicable to it. We had a problem last month. I want to hear from every citizen.
Commissioner Monroe, according to the rules, this is the wrong venue. The only action this committee can take is to put something on the agenda or not. That's in our rules. We cannot set or approve anything else. We can put it on the agenda for next month, but that's all this committee can do. If you'll read the rules, I read them, I checked up on them this afternoon. In the section under Agenda Committee, that's the only thing that is allowed this committee is to place something on the agenda.
All right, then I would ask our chairman to change the venue.
Are you going?
Order. We got a motion.
We have a motion on the floor to place this on the agenda. Do you wish to withdraw your motion? It belongs to the floor now that you've made it and seconded it.
Yeah.
So we're going to vote on it. If you are in favor of moving this item to the agenda, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 8 yeses, 12 noes.
That item fails to move to the agenda. Next item on the agenda is announcements and statements, and I have these announcements. Commission meeting will be June the 18th in this room at 7 p.m. The Blount County Corrections Partnership will meet Wednesday, June 24th at 1 p.m. at the Justice Center on the 3rd floor in the training room. And this is underlined. All county commissioners are invited and encouraged to attend the Corrections Partnership 2-hour workshop. This is with CTAS and the Tennessee Corrections Institute. The Ad Hoc Committee to study the feasibility of recycling will meet Monday, June 22nd at 5 p.m. in this room. Human Resources Insurance Committee will meet June 16th at 5 p.m. in this room. Now, is there anyone who wishes to have public input on an item that was not on the agenda? Come forward, please. Mr. Staines.
I just want to make a point of clarification since I'm the one that hired Mr. Garner. He currently makes less than half the salary of the former maintenance director. He's doing a very good job for the county and is very efficient, and it wound up as a cost savings to the county. So I just want to make that clear. It kind of was hung out there, but his current salary is less than half of what the former, coming from the mayor, what the former maintenance director makes. Thank you all.
Thank you. Anyone else wish? Anyone else wish to speak to an item not on the agenda in the audience? Commissioner Monroe, if you wish to speak, you'll need to come to the public mic because you're not speaking as a commissioner at this point. I know, but this is public input on item not on. Pardon me? I'm sorry. Let me get your, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to publicly ask the chairman to change the venue for the commission meeting. He can get it on, he can submit it to the commission secretary and she can put it in the paper and it'll be in there with a week's notice and we can accommodate the entire public. Thank you.
Read rule number 1 of the commission, please.
I don't have it in front of me. I can't quote it from memory. Does anyone else wish to speak to an item not on the agenda? This meeting is adjourned.